Hi, I'm Tim Draper. I'm a venture capital investor with Draper Associates, and I founded Draper University of Heroes for entrepreneurs like many of you to create great heroes. I'm very happy to be a part of Switch. I think it is going to be a great event. I'm looking forward to questions after after you hear my talk. And so what I really want to talk about today is what do I see going on out there? What do I look for in an entrepreneur? How I think entrepreneurship is going to lead us to a great future, and how I look at the world as a global thing, not a tribal thing. So that's where we're going to go with this. Um, First of all, where do I see the world going? The internet came and it transformed all sorts of industries. It transformed communications and information, gaming, entertainment, media. And it had a big effect on those industries because it was this unique technology that could be applied to a lot of different things. Well, now we actually have about five of the equivalent of the internet, five technologies, and those technologies have the effect potentially to transform the biggest industries in the world. Those technologies all start with Bitcoin, the blockchain, smart contracts, artificial intelligence, and surveillance. And then there are some really interesting things happening in healthcare around CRISPR, but let's focus on those. They have the potential to transform the biggest industries in the world: banking, insurance, finance, commerce, healthcare, real estate, and government itself. And how are they going to do that? Well, it's interesting. The internet was appropriate and really opened us all up and made it so that we could all communicate with each other very easily. We could do trade across borders. Well, Bitcoin came along and it allowed us to actually have a global currency. So while the world was still struggling with whether it was going to be tribal, where it was government controlled around a geographic border, or global, where governments would compete with each other for us, for the entrepreneurs, the money, the businesses, the citizens of the world. This was this is a new vehicle for allowing that globalism to occur and be global, and have a currency that is actually global. So if you were in Syria and you had a bunch of Syrian money and you got moved out by the military and you landed in Greece, no one takes your Syrian money. But if you landed in Greece and you were a refugee, you could pull down your Bitcoin and you could start your life over. So it changes everything having a global currency. Um, the other industries that are going to be changed. Banking. You don't have to pay 2.5% to 4% every time you swipe your credit card now, and it's hidden from you because really it's the merchant that's paying the 2.5% to 4%. But there are already initiatives in Bitcoin that are allowing people, if they pay in Bitcoin, to have a 2% discount. So that's the beginning of moving Bitcoin into retail. So I think that's going to be an extraordinary change in the way we operate. Bitcoin's already been used to do cross-border business, to do remittance, to do micro payments in industries that had never used micropayments before. And so this is a major breakthrough. It's very, very exciting that you now have this new currency that is much easier. If I had to send you money right now, I can, with Bitcoin, I can just take my smartphone and shoot it over to you. If I had to do it through the banking system, I'm not actually sure how I would do that. Somehow a bank wire, or I'd have to call somebody and do whatever. Anyway, it's a lot easier now with Bitcoin. So that changes a lot of things. And the other thing with Bitcoin is the blockchain. It keeps perfect records. So so not just currency records, but data records. And so that means that it could change real estate because you could keep perfect records of real estate title around the world. You know, you'd never have to worry about title insurance because you actually could have real estate title built on the blockchain, and it's a permanent feature. It could be a permanent feature on the blockchain. The other great thing about the blockchain, I'm hoping that one day I can raise a fund all in Bitcoin, invest it all in Bitcoin, have the entrepreneurs pay their employees and suppliers in Bitcoin, and then have all the accounting, the auditing, the bookkeeping, the transfer agents, all that just be done on the blockchain with smart contracts. So my investors could be paid. The entrepreneur would know exactly where their money went. The whole system can be taken care of on the blockchain. It's a perfect record. You don't need the audit because it's already done. Singapore is one of the most advanced governments. They will probably be among the first to recognize that if you use Bitcoin, you can tax in Bitcoin, you can keep perfect records in Bitcoin, and that would be incredibly helpful. Smart contracts are going to change the nature of what a contract is. They're going to be built into software, so there won't be room for interpretation or as much room for interpretation. So there won't be as many legal issues. So that's going to be very exciting. And you start putting some of these things together and you add surveillance to it, and you can create an insurance company, because I could create an insurance company with an actuary and some smart contracts, so that when you pay your premiums and then you issue a claim, that the claim can be figured out by surveillance. And you know, the satellite sees that your house did burn down, so here's your check. Before you even know your house is burned down, you might get that check. And that certainly isn't happening with insurance companies today. And so the surveillance can actually make a big impact on the way, and building insurance into a smart contract can really have an effect on insurance. So you can start an insurance company today with just smart contracts, an actuary, and some surveillance. And that'll change the nature of insurance. So insurance companies are going to have to evolve. And what is government but a series of probably 80% of government, probably insurance. It's healthcare insurance, it's workman's comp insurance, it's your social security, it's your welfare. All those insurance programs can be done now automatically on the blockchain with smart contracts. And that means that governments can be created very efficiently, or made much more efficient, because we're going to have these new features, these new ways of operating. Now, many governments respond by saying, no, we can't have it that way. It's got to be the old way, because that was tribal and we kept our territorial rights and all of that. Well, the best governments are recognizing that this is the future. It is the way that we're moving, and we're all going to be going in that direction. And you want to compete for the best, the brain power and the money and the businesses of the world. You're going to provide a better service, and by using these new technologies, governments can create better services and attract more of the business and other kinds of environments. So this is a major change. Now in healthcare, we're starting to see something else that's very interesting, and that is that that data is driving healthcare. So we're going to see diagnostics. Right now, we already have a company called Cloudmedics that does a better job than the average doctor of diagnosing a disease. And when more data is added, like not just your medical history, but your blood test results, your genetic history, your Fitbit results, where you sat on the airplane, what you ate for breakfast, what conferences you attended, all of that, it can be combined, and that data can determine with much better accuracy what it is you might have. And so diagnostics is going to change. Therapeutics is also going to change, because the therapeutics are going to be specific to you. They're going to be tied to you, for your genetics, for your protein makeup, for your lifestyle. All those things are going to be specific to you. And that's going to change the whole nature of the drug market, the drug discovery market, and the drug delivery market. And it's no surprise that the COVID cures have come from the dry labs, not the wet labs. They've come from using data, putting the COVID disease up on the screen and running tests against it. We have a company called Verge Genomics who came up with a cure for COVID, and it's 26 times as effective as remdesivir. And it's going through FDA approval now, and the drug companies are all competing for it. This is the first of many, many major breakthroughs that are going to come because we're dataizing healthcare. And what's great about that is healthcare costs are going to go way down. We're going to get great healthcare around the world. And you can see that this world is going through a major change. I think we're going through an anthropological leap. Our society has always been tribal. We've always drawn these lines in the sand, but we know that globalism is good for everybody. We brought 1 billion people out of poverty. Of course, the lockdown has made it so 135 million people are going to die of starvation. But when we get back to being global, we're all going to be better off. So, and to illustrate that, if I have a farm and you have a house, and if we don't do a deal, you die of starvation and I die of exposure. Now multiply that by the 8 billion people on the planet. They're all a part of an interwoven web of entrepreneurial and business activity and economic value, and providing each other help to improve our lives. We're all interconnected. As that happens, we are all so much better off because we have 8 billion people all working for the betterment of the 8 billion people. And so that ends up really changing the nature of society. And governance really is a service. And that service needs to be provided at a level that attracts people, just the way businesses have to attract people. And so that, I think we're going through a major change. Now, quickly, what do I look for in an entrepreneur? I see these things happening. They're coming in the next 5, 10, 15 years. We're seeing this anthropological leap. We're seeing these technologies change these industries. You, as an entrepreneur, can drive that change. I'm looking for those people who are driving that change. The question I ask myself when I meet an entrepreneur is, what if it works? How great will the world look if it works? Will we be freer? Will this improve healthcare? Will this improve the way insurance works? Will this improve governance? Will this improve banking? How does this improve society? And if it really makes some transformational change, then I'm much more willing to back it. And of course, when I meet entrepreneurs, what I'm really looking for is this your passion? Is this your love? Is this what you really want to spend your life doing? And is it a big enough thing for you to make happen? And is that going to be a big enough deal? So that's what I look for. I'm seeing major changes happening in the world. I'm seeing entrepreneurs driving those changes. I think it's going to be entrepreneurs that take us outside of COVID into this other world. It's going to make us more global. It's going to make us all more interconnected. It's going to get us off the planet. It's going to do extraordinary things for us. So thank you for having me. Now I'm going to be open for questions, and I'm sure you may have quite a few.